Well, for more on U.S. immigration policy, we're joined now by Loide Jorge, an immigration attorney here in Washington, D.C. Ms. Jorge, thanks so much for joining us. Joe Biden had previously said that on day one he would send a bill to Congress that lays out a, quote, clear roadmap to citizenship for some 11 million undocumented people in the U.S. What sort of changes are you expecting in America's immigration policies, and how soon do you realistically expect those?
Thank you for having me here. Realistic is the key here. To be sure, under Trump's administration, there were over 400 policies and rules that cannot just simply be undone. Of course, comprehensive immigration reform could be the undoing, but in the interim, to get that passed, that's another discussion. And there are so many policies that were put in place that it's a little unsure how it could be handled in an effective way. The building of the wall, if you recall, was how Trump got in. One of the main reasons why Trump was voted in, and what soon followed was an unprecedented speed in the way that these shifts happened, from the Remain in Mexico policies to reducing the number of refugees to detaining and separating kids. To this day, 666 children remain separated from their parents, to a wave of judges with little to no experience in immigration law, to forced hysterectomies, to travel bans, and attempted limitations to DACA. All of this cannot be undone with one fell swoop. And so, to answer your question, we're not sure how much can be done and how fast, but comprehensive immigration reform would be the way to at least attack it.
Some Republicans say the Biden plans undermine national security. Your thoughts?
Well, to be sure, I would say, if anything, it's probably created an environment where national security is even more perilous. This has a lot to do with the way that the world now views America, which in many forums has not been favorable.
Some have called the moves or plans bold, not quite the comprehensive immigration reform, but what about the potential political consequences of bold moves with so many seats up for grabs in the 2020 midterms, for example? Do you expect bold moves from lawmakers?
Well, those who've had a peek at what Biden is proposing have stated that it is bold and the time to strike is now, before the midterm elections kick in. And I would say now is the time to be bold, only because if we wait any longer, we may be in a deadlock the way it has happened in the past under Obama's administration, where he was not able to get the House to move.
You mentioned Donald Trump's border wall there a few days ago. He traveled to the U.S.-Mexico border to tout the wall. As somebody who works in immigration and deals with people on the receiving side of America's immigration policies, what did you personally make of that message in Trump's final days in office?
I think it was really just to feed his base. Again, part of how he was able to get into the White House was feeding off of people's hate of the other. And the wall is really much ado about nothing. If you think about the 400 plus miles, most of it was repair. 80 miles were actually only added on. And it's a symbolism of what he wants America to be, which is a throwback to 100 plus years back, when you would not be seeing an influx of brown people coming into America. It was a different type of immigrant then, but that's what he's hearkening us to go back to, a whiter America, really.
And to point out, the Biden administration, soon-to-be administration, is promising shorter wait times for things like green cards, visas, protected status for undocumented migrants. For some people, of course, that can't come soon enough. Loide Jorge, thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you.